This is another tutorial where basically I'll teach you how to show and hide some specific elements of the interface according with the user that is logged in. So let's say that we want to hide these elements here if the user it is admin, or we just want to show these specific elements here if the user it is admin. So how can we do that? So let's go back to our Bloxtor, let's open the products page and let's go to that specific element. So I want to select this element here, which is the parent of this checkbox here, and what I want to do, I want to go to the properties of this element here, and I want to go to the permission section, and in here I can see that I can select a bunch of configurations to show a specific element, or to hide a specific element, or to remove a specific element. So let's say that I want to hide this element if the user it is the type of admin. So I save this, and when I preview, nothing happened. And why is that? That's because this element here has this class here inline block, and this class basically is overwriting the style that is hiding this element. So we need to remove this class here, and we need to change the styling in here, the display to inline block, which basically does the same thing. So now this will work fine. So if I save, and now if I preview, I can see that it hides the checkbox here. But still, if the user does an inspect, I can see that the element is still here, so with the display none. So if I undisplay, if I remove the settings here, I can see that I have the element here that I can select. So, and this could be some security issue. So in order to avoid this, instead of hiding this element, maybe I want to remove this element. So it needs to be in this section instead of being in the section, in this hidden section. It needs to be in this remove section. So we needed to put here, remove this element if the user is admin, is the user type admin. So now when we refresh, I can see that if we do an inspect, the element is not here anymore. It was removed. So the user cannot hack the system and cannot use that specific element as it was doing before. So let's say that now I just want to show this element if the user it is admin. So this means, or if the user it is regular. Since we are logged in with admin user, that means that it will not show also here. As you can see, it hides the element. So the element is here, but it gets hidden because it's only showing for the users with the type regular, and we are currently logged in as the user admin. So if we erase all of these, and if we refresh, I can see that now is showing for everyone. Now if you realize, basically we are hiding, showing or deleting the elements through JavaScript in here, so when this page gets loaded in the browser. But let's say that we want to do that directly in the server because of security issues also. So to do that is possible, so we need to go back here in our Bloxtor, and what we need to do is in the options here, in the advanced options, we have here an option that basically says filter by permission, which is currently disabled, where basically it shows, hide or removes the specific elements according with the user permissions directly in the server. Instead of doing this when the page loads, it does that before on the server side. So this is very useful, mainly like let's say in the dashboard. So let's say that we just want to show the sales for specific users and the purchases for some other users. Let's say that we want to, every time that a order gets to our stock house, we have people working in the stock house, organizing the products that they just arrive, so that people need to register the purchases. So maybe that people only have access to this one, to the purchases. So this will be very useful to use these features, so that specific users can only have access to the purchases part. And additionally, this menu to only be shown if the user has access to the purchase, or if that user is from a specific type, and then we can set the permissions of that specific user type also to only be accessible in that page. So how can we do that? We go to the manage users, and in here, that's where in here we define what are the permissions for each type of user that have in the specific pages. So I can see that the user admin has permissions to all these pages. Let's say that I want to create a new user type for the users they are in our stock house. So I just needed to come here to create a new user type. In this case will be user types in here. I needed to create here a new user type, will be stock house or whatever, clerk, something like that. And then in here I needed to for that new specific user type, I needed to select a specific user type, and the only page that I will select will be the index and the purchase edit and the purchases. That's how we'll do that. Additionally, this feature allows to show, hide and remove elements not only based in the logged user, but based in valid values or valid resources. So valid values, it's like, let's say that I want only to show this if a specific value from the URL, if it has some value, I could put that value in here. So saying only if let's say that in here we don't have, so when I open the purchases, let's say that I have here products and I have something in here like some value here, ASD equal to 1. So maybe I just want to show this element here if this value here, it is valid, if it has something. So in that case I could put that specific variable of the URL in here. Or if there is a valid resource, so I could define resources in here, and then only if that resources have some value, then it will show that specific element. So we have multiple ways of doing this, and this is very useful, the resources, because in here in the resource we can create our own logic. Now let's say that for the remove, let's say that for the remove button, I just want to show the remove button for a specific user. It's exactly the same thing. So if we go to the remove button in here, let's say that I just want to show this element here if the user it is from a specific type, so only if the user it is from regular type. Since I am admin, I'm not regular, so it's not showing here. Let's say that I want this to be regular and admin also, so in that case it will appear. As you can see. Now let's say that even if I only show this for the regular types, the user can hack the system and can execute the remove button. So how can I avoid that to happen? So if the user comes here and if it finds the other button, he can choose this button here, and then he can automatically click in this button to remove the specific product. So how can we avoid this to be executed from the server side? So in the server side, in the resources, so we needed to find that specific resource, which is the delete product, and in here I could add another subgroup where basically will be check the permissions, check logged user permissions, and in here I could say I just want this resource to be accessible if the user it is from type regular. So if I do this, then only these user types can access this resource here. Even if the user clicks here, it will give an error from the server side, and in this case the server will be much more protected. So this is just an example. So basically in this tutorial we show you how can you hide and show specific elements according with the user permissions.